Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where the orchard of wisdom shows are at your fingertips. It ignites your soul, your heart, your spirit, your mind, and your body with illumination from people who have made the journey before you. They're here now to help you on your journey, on your path of self-discovery. We are funded by you, the audience, and the people we interview. If you wish to support us, please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com and press on our Fund Action button. Anything is appreciated. We'd like you to sit back and enjoy the shows. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Choose Positive Living right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest today is Mark V. Smith. He is a motivator. Why? Because change is hard at first, messy in the middle, but rewarding at the end. And he's the curator of the Bigger Vision Within. Curator of the Big Vision Within specializes in speaking from his personal experience and trials and tribulations in life. His desire of chronicle choices and to share the journey of his life. It resonates with everyone at the core, personally and professionally. He speaks from the heart and soul. The clever use of acronyms, each people in a manner of which it reaches, inspires, and motivates. He has served vice president of the Middle Atlantic Career Counseling Association and the former Reemployment Services and Eligibility Assessment Facility for Department of Labor. He's had previous roles, and he used to use his gift sharing his words of perseverance and helped individuals push forward through adversity. Mark has received standing ovations when he's spoken on the topics such as growth, purpose, and legacy. And across the country, his alumni of the Iowa State University has a strong passion for mentoring and now resides with his wife, Laurel, in MD. What? Where is MD, Mark? Sorry?
Maryland.
Maryland. Maryland. Is that Maryland, Washington, D.C.?
Yes, it's the DMV, DC,
Right.
Maryland.
No, I did actually live there for a short while back in 76.
Ah,
I had a good time there. So it was a good experience. Welcome to the show, love.
thank you. I truly appreciate it. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here today.
Motivation. I'm always saying that if we don't motivate ourselves, how can we inspire anyone else? Right. So before we get out there and do our thing, and you can tell the difference between somebody who gets out there and says the words as opposed to somebody who's living the words.
Mhm. Absolutely, you do. And I laugh and joke a lot because my day starts earlier than a lot of people. 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's go time for me. It's go time because it's so many different things. One, I'm an avid gym rat, so I get in the gym. I'm blessed to have a full home gym downstairs in what used to be a garage, but it's now a full gym that my wife and I outfitted. But so I want that time to kind of get my mind and body together. Then I get that quiet time, that time where I get to really get a chance to read, get a chance to do some self-reflection, think about my day, think about, the arrows that may be coming during the day, but also put myself in that right framework because I am in the business or the line of work that I changing lives and what I say means things. I
Mhm.
always say, when I open my mouth, I could leave you bitter or I can leave you better. That's a choice. That's a choice that
Yes.
I have. And I choose to leave everybody better with any type of interaction that I embark on. So it starts at 4:30, doesn't end till about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and then it just recycles itself the next day. But
You
but
you
Sarah,
obviously don't need a lot of sleep.
ooh man, I can sleep later.
A lot of people say they'll sleep when they die, but there's some people that just, can hit that pillow and 4 hours of good solid sleep and they're ready to go. And that's a blessing in itself. But
Yes, it
life
is.
is an attitude, isn't it? And I think if you can wake up every day with a gratitude, hey,
Mhm,
hello day, thank you. You've given me another day here.
mhm,
What can I do today? What difference can I make today? And I think if we start our day off with that different perspective, um, not just hitting the snooze button, which I like to wake up and have contemplation time before I jump out of bed. Um, but I think it is a question of even if it's a blah day outside, or you're going to be doing something today that isn't particularly your favorite thing, it's still a gratitude in the attitude that you need to have, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I say it all starts from the very first time we look in our mirror.
Mm.
Because that's where we truly form our own internal perception. We can run from a lot of people, but we can't run from
Oh,
ourselves. You
you
can
may
never
try, but
yeah,
you'll never succeed.
not happening. So, one of the things that I always say is I purposely want to walk out this door or get on the first Zoom call or get on that phone call with the attitude of glow. And
Hmm.
when I wrote one of my series, I said glow stands for gratitude living, others will witness. So I threw that extra W on there. So
Mm-hmm.
again, that I just talked about it, that interaction that we have with people, we can leave them better. We
Yes.
never know. I remember a supervisor when I worked for the Department of Labor. She said, "Mark, you are so um, confident, and when you just take people and you talk to people and you ease their mind." And I used to tell her all the time, Joyce, I don't know if I might be that last hope. If
Mm.
my conversation with them could give them the strength to carry on to the next day, which things could potentially light up, or my ignoring them or not having any conversation could be that last straw that and made them decide that they no longer want to do it. So it's about sharing who you are individually. It's about caring for people, and it's about really just wanting to do better, want to see better, want to take what we have and what we see in society right now and change the narrative and make it a stronger unity within all of us.
Yes. Inspiration begets invitation.
Hmm.
When you live from a point of inspiration, when you live from a point of illumination, when you are engaged in life, when you can smell the roses and feel the breeze and hear the laughter, you become it. Everybody's so busy doing, but they're not being. Right. And we need to be that inspiration. We need to be so immersive. We see this in competition all the time. Yes, perfectly executed, but something missing. Where's the personality, or where's the connection to it? And you'll have somebody doing a performance where they make a flaw or crack in their voice, but the emotion behind it, because of the connection, invites us in. So it's all very well that you might be out doing stuff, but are you being it? Because it's the being that will attract people to you, and it's the being that inspires everyone else.
That's so true. I talked about a lot, especially recently when I wrote the series Legacy at the end of my series Procrastination and Thief of Time. And I said, and I chronicle, one thing about me, Sarah, is I don't believe in hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about the things that I did, and I talk about them because I hope it changes lives and helps people
Yes.
know that you're not defined by your past,
Right.
that there's no bearing on who you are or what you've done. But I also talk about how I used to live life transactional, meaning what can you do for me? How are you going to
Yeah.
help me benefit where I need to go? But I quickly realized after a long portion of my life,
Mm-hmm.
that's not the way life is designed to live. We should be living transformational.
Yes.
Going from transactional to transformational it was an easy step because that was innate, that was inside me. I had the blinders on. I didn't take those blinders and remove them and say, you got a big beautiful world here, you're blessed, you have a lot of opportunity, you have gifts that God has given you, that he's only given you, because he gives everybody gifts, but he gives everybody specific gifts for them
Yes.
to use. So I really go back and I chronicle and talk a lot about my past, my present, and my future to make sure my messages are clear to everybody who will bend the ear and give an ear.
The orchard is made up of many trees and of many fruits. Be that tree where somebody picks from that fruit and it fortifies them, right? The
Mhm,
greatest gift we can have in life is that of giving.
mhm,
Because when you give and you make a difference, minuscule, large, doesn't matter, a
mhm,
smile even, or
mhm.
even though later they will smile, it doesn't matter what it is, just give intentionally to make a difference. And in your heart, you know that you've given honestly and from the heart. That is a gift back to you.
Absolutely. That's a wealthy mindset. That's
Mm.
Wealthy mindset require or enacts people to give first with no expectation.
Yeah.
You're giving of yourself. It's not you giving for a reason or you're giving to hope to receive. You're giving because that's going to make somebody else reach a level that they need to reach because you're fortunate enough to be able to do so. And I believe that a lot of people don't take advantage of that.
Yeah.
They go back to I just dialogued about it.
Mm,
Transactional.
mm.
Transactional versus transformational is key in how society should be built, but unfortunately, we're living in a world of reality that it's not often.
I mean, I get a lot of flack because, you know, a lot of people charge people to come on their shows, and it's like, you know, for me, everything is by donation.
Hmm.
What can you afford? What is it worth to you? I leave that up to you. I leave that up to you. And of course, in the business world, you're doing it wrong. And I said, I'm doing it the way my consciousness can deal with it. You know, I'm going to put this out anyway,
Hmm.
right? And if it does come back an appreciation, wonderful, right? But for me, my purpose is to make sure good information gets out there that seeds all those wonderful possibilities for other people, right?
Hmm.
They've got to water them, they've got to nurture them, you
Right.
know.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. You gave them the seed, so
Yeah,
it's up to them what they do with it at that point. Because again, it is about giving. It's
yes.
about giving of your time, your talent, and your treasures, and all those things encompassed together help people move to other levels, which they truly don't think they can.
There's been many a person I've interviewed that was high up, CEO, making the six figures, doing everything else. And along came the cosmic two by four and flattened them. And then from their ashes, they rose and stepped into something that really meant something to them. You
Mhm.
know, I can't go back to that rat race. I can't go back to that facade. I can't go back to that illusion. I need to be who I am with the gift that I am. And they're not making the six figures, but they're so much more enriched and abundant today in everything they do, in everything that they give, that, you know, I wish I'd done it further earlier. But sometimes it all comes when it's meant to come. You're meant to take these other paths to learn skills or
Mhm.
learn how not to do something.
Mhm.
Right, so that when you've chosen your path, your meaningful purpose, you have those skills and abilities to go and do it right.
The greatest teacher is life.
Oh
The
God, yeah.
greatest teacher is life. And I believe I go back and look at the course of the things that I did. From high school to through college to leaving college early because I had children, to talking about the importance of not going to school and getting a degree, or talking, excuse me, the
Mm,
importance of getting a degree and me not having a degree
mm,
at that time, to going working jobs that I really, it was just job, just
mm.
just over broke, doing what I just needed to do to
Yes.
make a life for my family and myself. And I don't believe, I go back, I don't discount any one of
Yeah.
those lessons that I learned, because these are lessons that made
Yes.
me better. They taught me a valuable lesson about hard work. They taught me the importance of being there, being a father, being
Yeah.
there, being a great dad for your kids, no matter what. It taught me the fact that it's not when you get your education, but as long as you get your education, make sure that you get it and you get it done, so you can talk to people and really utilize who you are. It's about all the networking individuals that I met along the way, of the mistakes that I made.
Yes.
So I know what I need to do and what areas of growth opportunities that are there for me. So I always tell people, your past was perfectly designed. It
Hmm.
was placed strategically the way it was, so you can grow. And you're going to
Exactly.
have your ups, you're going to have your downs, you're going to have your tears, and you're going to have your smiles.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what are you pulling away from that? Are you grabbing something that you can actually talk to people about as they go through? Because I always say, you go through to get through.
Yes.
So at some point, you're going to have to, or have an opportunity to talk to other individuals about certain situations that are so similar than what you do.
Hmm.
And shame on us if we don't have that conversation with them, to let them know and let them see your light shine, to say it's going to be okay. It's
Yeah.
going to be all right.
You know, I'm a huge advocate for children. I have a Forgotten Children series here, and it's, you know, one of the problems is there is the emphasis. I've got to make the money. I've got to provide for the kids. I've got to get for their college funds. And what they forget is to be the parent, right?
Mhm.
And, okay, yeah, you're so far over there. Who are you? I'll go off to college. You're still a stranger. I think was it Meatloaf that did that one song about the father? Uh,
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about too. It's on the tip of my tongue.
yeah, it will come. It will come. It
Yeah.
always makes me cry every time I hear it, because unfortunately my dad died at 11, so I didn't get that opportunity to really get to know him because we were all at boarding school as well. And it's like, don't ever underestimate the the gift that you are to your children as a parent, right? And yes, that next deal or that next this and that, but where's your time? A, for yourself, B, for your spouse, C, for your children. Because if they're detached from you later on because you've never given them a chance to know you, you've never been there through their growth, it's
Mhm.
not their fault there is this distance.
Mhm.
Right. So, I think one of the gifts COVID has given for many people was that pause, that time to reflect, that time to come together, that time to pivot in a new direction. What's really important? These years of children growing go so fast, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, you're out inspiring everyone else, but what about them? They want to look up to you and go, I'm inspired by you too, Dad.
Mhm. And the fact of the matter is kids our babies are going to emulate somebody.
Exactly.
They have to emulate somebody, and I understand the fact that, and you talked about it. Just I understand you got to go to work. I understand
Yes.
the bills have to be paid, but at some point you have to take a step back and say, is it truly worth it?
Yeah.
I go back and tell a lot of people when I talk about my stories and do shows and speeches. 40 years of my life. I'm not a spring chicken. I'm 57 years old. 40 years of my
You're
life.
spring chicken to my books. It's 10 years my junior.
40 years of my life was spent in turmoil. It's
Mm,
been in turmoil. It's been in regret and anger,
mm,
frustration, and
mm.
not truly believing in myself. I did the things that I had to do to raise my children, but also I made sure I wanted to make sure that I was going to leave them with something that was going to be substantial. And it became a point to where I had to really take a step back and say, okay, are you really leading them in that way?
Yeah.
Or are you spending so much time chasing dreams and
Mm.
buying them versus
Yeah.
being a father
Yeah.
for them? So that's a huge difference between
Oh,
buying
yes.
them and being a father for them.
Oh, yeah.
And to this day, I go back and I think about some of the things or some of the decisions and choices that I made while raising them. Was I perfect dad? Absolutely not. No such thing as a perfect parent, because they don't give you a rule book and say,
There's no
this is
such
how
thing as perfection.
this is
Right?
how this is how a child's supposed to act. This is how
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
parent's
Oh,
supposed to
yeah.
act. That doesn't work like that. So
No.
life doesn't, and then so we're always battling society and that thing that social media
Yeah.
or that thing
The
called television.
expectation of
Yeah,
what you should
yeah,
be.
absolutely.
Ugh.
So we were consistently battling that.
Yes.
So I am very proud of my wife and I. We've got 4 kids, or 5 kids. I'm sorry, we lost a daughter tragically, but
Sorry to hear that.
we have all 5 of them are or had and still have unique personalities.
Hmm.
They're all different, but yet and still, there's one thing that I know that we're both very proud of is they are grounded with love.
Yes.
They believe love is the most important thing. They believe that family is the most important
Hmm.
thing, and they believe in giving back. And that I can't be any prouder as a father. I know my wife can't be any prouder as a mother to know that is something that will carry on through generations. They'll I pray they teach their kids, our
Yeah.
grandbabies, that same methodology and the same mentality.
I 1,000,000% agree with you there. Our kids are going to go and explore. They're going to make some wrong decisions. They're going to even go down their own rabbit hole now and again. But, if they come back because they know they're loved, they come back because they know love, the frequency of love is higher than anything.
Mhm,
And that love will get you through everything,
mhm,
right? Is that even if they're kind of estranged from you because they're off proving their own stuff,
mhm,
that core love bond will always be there and always bring them back. And I think if everybody, I don't care what you're doing, who you are, what you are, if you can come from a place of love, that is the currency. That is the currency in the world. Do everything with love, for love. And
mhm.
if it becomes transactional and financial, fantastic, but still do it from the heart.
Mhm. It needs to be. And
Mm.
you know, since you when you brought that up, it ties back into why I created the process,
Mm-hmm.
and it was because I want to help carve out a blueprint, a
Mm-hmm.
resource for individuals to go back to when times are tough, or when we need to have that tough conversation. Sometimes when our kids don't understand,
Mm-hmm.
when we as adults, because heck, a lot of times we don't understand, and
How
we
can we
question.
explain if we don't know it?
But I've always believed that there's a central core foundation that if we stay true to, then everything else will work itself out, or
Yeah,
it will be all right.
yeah.
And I entitled it AIR, and that stood for accountability,
Mm-hmm.
integrity, responsibility, and respect. If we take accountability of who we are and what we've done and what we choose to do, and not blame anybody else and just take ownership of it, that sets us on a path. If we exercise integrity all the days of our lives, integrity, doing the things that we know we're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do, even when nobody's watching. When you're outside and you see a piece of, something small, like you see a piece of trash, you pick it up.
Yeah.
You see somebody struggling or something like that, you lift them and you give them a hand.
Mm-hmm.
My wife will always tell anybody that she talks to how she fell in love with me, and why she fell in love with me is for my care with elderly people. I will
Mm-hmm.
never let an elderly person carry a bag of groceries
Good for
ever.
you.
I
Yeah.
won't. I don't believe in that. That is just something that's inside of me. So that integrity piece, that responsibility. Just because you live in one state or just because you live in one neighborhood does not mean that you're not responsible for other individuals, and helping them get to their levels that they go. I spent 32 years in Ohio, 13 years in Arizona, some time in California, some time in Texas. All my acquaintances and relationships, guess what? I'm still responsible for the people that I came across and interacted with in that
Mm-hmm.
level. And the last one would be respect. See, I
Mm-hmm.
think that is one of the missing foundations and pieces of getting back to a unified front.
I agree.
We don't have A lot of people don't have to agree with each other and agree with their views,
Mm-hmm.
but they do have that responsibility to respect that individual. Doesn't mean that, again, that they're necessarily right. I'm necessarily right, but it's about the respect factor. So if we all go back to that basics, and I use that a lot in our home. If
Mm-hmm.
we're being accountable, if my wife and I are being accountable parents, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing as parents. That means sometimes tough love, sometimes to saying that magic word that a lot of parents don't like to say, no.
Yes. Yeah.
Integrity, leading by example. Showing
Mm-hmm.
integrity when you're out there inside in public, showing integrity when you're in there in your home, being disciplined like I do, like that regimen at 4:30 in the morning. I don't have to get up and do that. I really don't. That
Mm-hmm.
isn't that is my drive and my desire.
Right.
Being responsible. Again, me doing the small things have an impact, and I'm responsible to make sure that these other individuals who say that they want to do it, or that they're working towards it, I'm responsible for helping them get through. And that respect factor, no matter who I come across, no matter what their personal views are, no matter what happens, my responsibility is to respect you and your opinion. And if we can all get back to that and keep that foundation at our
Yes.
core, then I think, we'll get there. We'll
Yeah.
get there. And homes heal, families heal, societies heals, neighborhoods heal. Everything heals if we remember air. If we just truly use it.
Right. I totally agree with you. When everybody's busy pointing a finger, it's their fault, their fault, their fault. There's three
Mhm.
pointing back at you and saying, well, what are you doing about it? Or aren't you a part of the equation? Or just saying it's not my problem is a problem. Right? We are all here breathing the same air on this planet. We are all renters here on this
That's
planet. I don't care
right.
how rich or how poor you are. We're all here to contribute. Right. And I'm a true colors coach, the 4 key personality traits. I may see it from this opinion. You see it from that opinion. Neither one of us are wrong or right. It's our opinion. Now, if we bring more of the other opinions in and we put them together and we look at them as a whole, we have a better understanding of the picture, right? So understand this is how you see it. Be open to receive how other people see it. Be willing to put those pieces together and see the whole picture. It still may mean that you don't necessarily agree, but at least you understand where they're coming from, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's agree to disagree. but we
Mm-hmm.
don't have to take up pitchforks against each other,
Mm-hmm.
right?
You're so
Let's
correct.
leave the violence down. Let's leave the ego out of it. Let's
Mm-hmm.
leave this entitlement, put that away. It is all about whoever you are on this planet, we are here to contribute and we're here to serve one another
Mm-hmm.
with heart, with conviction, with respect. And you can't serve anybody if you don't have self-respect or self-love or self-purpose.
Right. That's right. You're very accurate. Very, very, very accurate. And it is it's terrible. And it goes back to that first thing, that first piece of furniture that is the most important piece of furniture inside your house, your mirror.
Mm. Yes. When I used to coach, one of the things that have people do is two things. Is one is write a column, everything that you think is against you in the world, all your negatives. And in the other column, all the gratitudes. And then I would say, okay, like, read the negatives. How do you feel? All right, read the gratitudes. How does it make you feel? What are you feeding? Because what you feed is what's going to grow. If you
Mm-hmm.
keep nurturing the negatives, they're going to constantly have a life force. But if
Mm-hmm.
you feed the gratitude will grow, and you feel better there.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is talk to your mirror. It's very hard to pull the wool over your own eyes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You know, in one of the writings that I did, I talk about, and again, everything is true life based on my true life. And
Exactly. You've
I
been
talk
there, done it, right?
and got the T-shirt.
Yeah.
So I write about, I wrote in this series, coincidentally, if I only knew then what I know now,
Mm-hmm.
I write about a specific time when my wife and I went to the mall. And I'm notorious for, I'm really not, I don't like to shop. I really don't.
Very few men do.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I guess that could be classified as typical male, but
Mm,
I will go, and I go a lot of times. I'll go to people watch just to see, just to
mhm,
see the attitudes and see who's happy that day, who's sad that day, who got drug along at the mall. But also kind of helps inspire me, and when I think about people and think about writings and things that I do. Well, one of the trips that she went into Macy's and came out with two distinct bags. And in those bags, she wouldn't tell me at first. She said, I will wait and show you when we get home. So we had went to dinner, came home. I went to my office and started writing for an upcoming event. And she said, are you ready to see what I bought? And I was like, yeah, let's take a look at it. So she comes in with these two unorthodox bags, and one bag she had engraved today, and one she had to engraved tomorrow. And I always use an analogy, something what you talked about before, called light bag versus heavy bag.
mhm.
And inside that heavy bag is all the stuff,
Yes.
all the stuff that we just refuse to let go of.
Yeah.
The people who wronged us,
Mm,
the getting passed over the jobs,
mhm,
the lack of money, the negative talk about other individuals, the negative self
mhm,
talk,
mhm.
all that. I always encourage people, put that in your heavy bag, because we're going to bury it. We truly are going to bury that bag so it never begin.
Right.
And the light bag or the tomorrow bag, it was always designed with our future. So we're huge on writing things down,
Mhm.
posting them, because if you write it, you become accountable to it at
Yes.
that point, because you wrote it. So now you got to answer to it. So all the things and all the goals and dreams go in that tomorrow bag. So it was kind of coincidental that she did it, but also it's one of the best evenings that we had, because again, we looked at and we thought about it. You know what, honey, we don't have a lot in that heavy bag. We
Right.
really don't. We got rid of all that stuff.
Yes.
We got a ton of stuff in this tomorrow bag, or that light bag,
Mm.
that eventually will see us through our goals and dreams in the future. So yeah, I really agree with exactly what you're saying. It's this stuff. We got to get rid of that stuff, those anchors, those things that hold us back, because that's the only thing. Nobody holds us back. We
No,
hold ourselves back.
no. We always think life is happening to us. It's happening for us.
Mm-hmm.
And if we are going through hard times, that is the discovery time. How strong, how resilient am I? How strong am I? How courageous am I? What are my abilities? What is this journey really for? And if we're willing to go through that process of that self-discovery, we discover on the other side of it, my God, I never knew I could do that. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know I was this strong. Gosh, I've got a lot of gumption, and what I'm doing today, I love. And that
Mhm.
was the reason why you had to go through the process. It
Mhm.
isn't jumping from one to the other. It's the going through it where you make the discoveries.
You know, every obstacle is an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Every single is an opportunity. So I wrote something or an acronym, one of the most famous acronyms that I wrote that took off, and I've been requested to speak a lot on it, is growth.
Hmm.
And I talk a lot about the fact that, you know, we are always moving in a, hopefully we are always moving in a positive direction. You know,
Yeah.
you said it earlier, I say change is hard at first,
Hmm.
messy in the middle, but rewarding in the
Yes.
end. So everybody has things that have gone on in their life, and that is truly the growth process
Yeah.
and maturation process. But I say growth stands for gradual reminder, obstacles will test hope.
Mm.
So everything, you know, we always are going to have things that go on. So that's a
Mm.
consistent gradual. There's a reminder. Every time it seems like we can't get through it, we're not going to get over it. It's always going to be here. So that obstacle right there that it sits on us is that opportunity that's truly testing our hope. And the fact of the matter is, we are 100%. Our track record of getting through this stuff is 100%. There's not
Yes.
one thing that we haven't gotten through. The caveat, it may not have been what you wanted it to be,
Exactly. It's what you
but you
needed.
but you needed it to be
Yeah,
to get you
exactly.
to get you to that other side to where you can make some more you want to make your choices a little better. So
Right.
that's what I talk a lot about those
Mm.
and a lot of things that I talk about because it's so important to just redirect or change your mindset,
Mm.
change your
Mm.
thought process, and just embrace these things. Is it easy? Heck no, it's never easy. I've been there. Again, been there, done that, got the t-shirt,
Yeah,
got
exactly.
it,
But
got
does
it.
an Olympian get the gold by it being easy?
And nothing. You
Right?
know,
If it's
nobody.
worth it, it was worth pushing yourself for it, right?
And
Yeah.
it's and when you go back and look at it, that period, that period of
Yes.
time that you went through was so short. It was so
Yeah.
short.
Yeah.
It was
Or
short.
why didn't I do it earlier? You know, that's the other thing. You know, I
If I,
believe positive thinking equals positive living. And,
mhm,
I was in my late 40s, 50s before I woke up and placed value upon myself, because before then I was bending into a pretzel to everybody else's expectation.
mhm,
And it was, a huge wake up and a huge journey, to step into my own life and not just be living for others all the time.
mhm,
There's one thing I do know about people, because I want to talk about people on the other side of that process. People think that once they're there, everything is like kumbaya and heavenly. No, stuff is still going to happen to you. But the
mhm.
thing is, you're more equipped on how to deal with it.
That's
I
it.
do a show myself every week, and I have a little series called The Pearls of Wisdom. And this week it's actually about spiritual depression. And there
Mhm,
are a lot of people that are very in tuned, empathic, highly sensitive, and they feel the pain of others. And it should be, but I should be at this higher frequency. I shouldn't feel this pain. I should know what to do with it. But when you have such saturation, like the war that's going on, right?
mhm,
Such saturation, and there's so much anguish and pain out there, and you feel, what can I do? Because what you are wanting to do is comfort and heal and protect. It is to understand that we can't heal everybody, we can't do for everyone. We can
mhm,
again inspire, that will invite, or we can pay attention to a cause, a generalization of what we want to do, and concentrate on that. But never, ever, ever underestimate the power of, whether you call it prayer or good vibrations, sending that positive energy towards people, because that energy, whether they know it's coming from you or not, it doesn't matter. The
mhm.
more people that send it out, the more it elevates their frequency against the problem that they're having to battle with.
Every single day. And it's
Mm.
again, it starts at the onset when you wake up. That's
Yes,
what it is.
gratitude. Yeah.
You know, I always said that there's three things that we control. We really have control over them. The thoughts we think,
Hmm.
actions we take, and the visions you see. We in
Hmm.
control of those. We are true. Nobody can take, you know, they laugh at me a lot of times when we get into meetings or we have different strategy sessions or I'm even speaking in a mark. Nobody can knock you off your square. You're right. You can't. I'm not going to let you knock me off there and go to that place because it's not worth it.
But because you're rooted, you don't
Yeah.
need to be knocked off. I mean, my analogy of that is the tree. You
Mhm,
have firmly rooted. You have a
mhm,
good strong trunk. but you have flexible branches.
Hmm.
They can blow in the wind, they can blow in the storm. It doesn't matter how much you huff and puff. Your
Hmm.
core is strong and rooted, right?
Hmm.
And so you could be flexible. So whatever people throw at you, it may be unpleasant, but it's okay. It's just the wind going through the branches.
And you know what? It's temporary.
Exactly.
Like the stuff that we go
Yeah.
through,
Yeah.
it's temporary. It's not
Yeah.
gonna last, and it'll be over with before you know it, and you won't even remember it.
No. No. Now people in in their own self discovery or their own recovery and their own redirection, various people work different way, and that's according to, obviously the personality trait, but we all need a blueprint. We all need some form of structure. Now, there are some people that really love that blueprint to the letter T in the corner and the this and the that, and they'll follow that plan. To other people, they may be more of an air, because we're all element signs, maybe more of an air sign, and they need to know how to channel the wind. Don't
Mhm.
ask them to root, they're not rooters. But we all need a process, because otherwise we're flapping, right? So we had to have some sort of system to keep us on track. And what would you say kind of would be the first fundamental in kind of either grounding ourselves or centering ourselves, a place that we can always come back to and springboard from?
I think it started with that four-letter acronym I gave us at the very beginning. I think that would be that's a foundational piece of not placing blame,
Mm,
which is taking accountability for who you are, and the not saying woe is me.
mm,
This is a situation that occurred. I talk a lot about some defining moments in my life, and one of the most defining moments in my life happened in 2002 when my father passed away. And our relationship was not the greatest relationship when I was in high school, and I took ownership and credit for that because it was what I got too big for my britches. And of course
mm-hmm,
I got chastised a lot for being a little big for my britches, which is my father was a former Marine. So
mm-hmm,
we had zero tolerance,
mm-hmm,
zero tolerance for anything around there. So, you know, you go back, and I think about the being accountable to who you are and what you need to do on a consistent basis to make sure that you're able to move
mm,
forward to the next level. But then also I think you have to respect the fact of you are purpose, and you have to really think about, understand. Let me back up. Understand that nobody was created like you
mm-hmm,
but you,
mm-hmm,
and you have a design path that you're charged to understand. In understanding that path, the road is going to be very rocky, full of what you might perceive as boulders, but are really pebbles.
yeah,
And as you continue to walk that walk to find out who you are and what you're truly called to do, you're going to be slapped, you're going to be punched, you're going to be kicked, you're going to be ridiculed, you're going to be told you're less than, you're wasting your time. All of these things are going to come. But if you remember that and you have that integrity
mm-hmm,
inside of all those things that are going
mm,
on, then you'll still maintain that. I like to say that even keel or where you need to be. Then you got to remember too that in that journey, because it's a journey,
mm,
consistent journey, and you and I included, and everybody listening, we're all works in progress.
yes.
We're not where we need to be, but we're not the same person we were
Yep.
yesterday.
And we're going to
So
be in process to the day we die.
the day we die. So you take a look again at that responsibility, because again, we are responsible for somebody. And to get
Mm,
to your next level, get to your next step, you have to accept that responsibility to know that I am, the old saying, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
mhm,
Yes, I am. I'm responsible. I tell the men and women in Baltimore, I'm responsible for you. This 6 8 hours that we spend together, and I'm talking to you about different things. I'm responsible to make sure that I am giving you something that can be used as an application in your life, not just today, but for the rest of your life.
yeah,
Period. Period.
yeah,
And then
mm,
there's that last piece again. I talk about that respect piece.
mm,
I don't worry. I'm when I first came to the Maryland area, we lived in Washington D.C., and my wife is a federal employee, so I would go visit her a lot of times, and we would walk some of she's in probation and parole, so a
mhm,
lot of times we would go into some of the most scariest neighborhoods inside of the district. And I would just think about, wow, this is tough opportunity. It's a tough place to be. And she would always look at me and tell me, she said, you know what? These people will respect you if you respect them. If you don't look at them, you don't look at them as being less than, you don't look at them as being a non-equal, they will respect you just as another man or woman inside the streets. So if we encompass all those four scenarios, the individuals that I'm talking about, that I'm accountable for, and we talk about the respect and responsibility, and if you talk about at the grand scheme of things, the respecting everyone no matter who they are, that keeps you centered, and that keeps you at 11, a
Yes.
place you can always roll back to
Mm,
when things are getting tough, when things are going back. Ask yourself those questions. I use Don Ruiz's four agreements all the time. are you
yes.
are you impeccable to your word? Yeah.
Yes.
Are you taking things personally? Are you
Yes.
making assumptions? Are you always doing your best? If
Yes.
you can answer those four questions, guess
Yes.
what? You're on the right path.
Yep.
If you
Those are my codes of conduct. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you fall short on any
Yes.
one of those, and guess what? We got a little work to do.
Time to a little accountability. Yeah. I
Yeah, we
want to
got.
share. I want to share a story there about Washington D.C. because I lived there in '76 for a while, and I'd borrowed my housemate's car, gone into Washington, and I was coming out, and I took a wrong turn, and I ended up down this particular street, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of guys there, and I wound down my window and asked how to get back to the highway. And there was like a couple of guys, and suddenly there's a bunch of guys, and there's chains, and there's this, and there's that on them, right? And so I always got through life by being the dizzy blonde, and so so I am British, but I had been living in South Africa at the time, so I made sure no South African accent came through. And it was, I'm lost. Can you tell me how to get home? And I made a few comments and this and that, and I appealed to the goodness in them.
Mhm,
Right, which part of England are you from? The dialogue, da 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 da. Right, kept it inquisitive, asking them questions, never showing any fear. Right,
mhm,
and they literally directed me right up, took me to the highway. When I
mhm,
got home, my flatmate had a cop there visiting her, and he said, You were on what street? You did what? He said, the police don't even go down there. It's so scary. And
mhm.
I think I didn't go in fear. I didn't ask in fear. I went in trust.
Yeah.
Now, that not to say that there are situations, pay attention to your senses. They'll know,
Mhm,
right? But these people may be gangsters, may be people that were violent, but I didn't go with violence. I didn't go to invite the violence. I appealed to their
mhm,
better nature. And I think most of the time, if we appeal to the better nature of people, if we see the humanity inside of them, that humanity will want to come out.
mhm,
Now, there's obviously some people who don't have any humanity in them,
mhm,
and you have to assess that. But
mhm,
most of the time, you will see people that just want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be counted. I
mhm,
saw them, I heard them, and I made them count.
mhm. Yeah, I believe that there's two things that definitely come into mind, into play when you just brought that up. One, we all want to belong.
Yes,
We all want to belong to
yes,
some group. I use that. Bo Diddley wrote a song and he entitled it to "You're Gonna Serve Somebody."
yes.
We are going, no matter who it is, whether it's money,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's materialistic things, whether it's a group, whether it's
Mm,
whoever you believe in, your higher power, you're gonna serve somebody.
That's what we're here for, to
Yeah,
serve.
exactly. And secondly, and most importantly, is that these individuals, I believe there's goodness in everybody.
Hmm.
I don't believe that any one of us were born bad. I believe that our situations, what society has placed our situations to be, and what we have choose to accept as bad makes them that those individuals act the way they act. Again, I see it every day. I mean, these are young men and young women that I work with that are, most of them have been, almost 90% of them have been incarcerated.
Yeah.
About 95% of them have been out less than 2 months.
Hmm.
Some of them had done 20, 30, 40 years. Some of them been in there since inception, since
Hmm.
14, since 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
And they're 60 years old now. So the good majority of their life has been
They
incarcerated.
wouldn't know anything else.
That's all they know,
Hmm.
and that is all they believe in. So their mentality is totally
Hmm.
different. So is giving them an opportunity, like you did, giving them an opportunity to dialogue, showing them that there are people who aren't judging them
Mhm.
because of their current situation. You're not being judged. I
Yeah.
just need, listen, I'm appealing to you. I'm asking for your assistance, and I trust and, trust that you will help me figure out a solution. And that's what we become. I talk about it a lot. We in society, you and I, and as well as everybody else, we become trust agents.
Yes, exactly.
We get to
Mm.
the point that we're individuals in dialogue with individuals, they become our ability to trust us. And that's not I mean, that's nothing to be taken lightly. It's truly I say it's a blessing. I say it's a gift that we have to be able to do that and have conversation with people, and they're able to respond to us, and open up to us, and allow us. I use that word, allow us to help
I have
them.
whole banners on allow.
Allow
Yeah.
us to be a part of their life and help them find the way to get to where they need to be.
If you are running in fear, then you're always going to be running scared. You're always going to be attracting fearful things. If
Hmm.
you are running in hate, you're always going to attract the hate. If you are running in a lack of self worth, you are always going to attract the people who are going to treat you accordingly. It
Hmm.
is our journey and imperative that we find the value within ourselves, that we
Hmm.
learn to love who we are, not our mistakes, not the things that we did. They were our learning curves. So, what, you made a mistake. Would you do it again? No, you learned from it, right? Did you feel guilt around it? Yes. Do you want to feel that guilt again? No. So, you're never going to do it again,
Hmm.
right? Learn from your mistakes. Don't persecute yourself because of them. Allow yourself to grow from them. Allow yourself to reseed. Allow yourself to rediscover. Allow yourself to tune into the beauty of the world, because
Hmm.
so many people are only tuned in to be fearful. Don't look at that person. They're looking at you. I will look directly in the eye
Hmm.
and I
Hmm.
will smile. And if
Hmm.
they were going to be threatening, I'm being disarming. My eyes are saying hello, but they're
Hmm.
also saying, I see you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right? My smile is being welcoming. If it's not reciprocated, that is on them, right?
Hmm.
But it is, be who, the Don Rue, be your personal excellence. Don't assume, ask. How do we know what's going on in their lives, right? Um, do your very best by what you feel is your best, what your consciousness says is your best. And don't take things personally. If somebody's dumping all over you, it's their garbage. You
That's right.
don't have to receive it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That is so true. We give and what we accept.
Yeah,
We need to control what we give and what we accept.
we do.
It is fun. It is truly uh, um, impactful to be able to work with individuals in my population, and to work to change lives.
Yes.
A lady asked me when I did a speech in downtown DC about 3 months ago. And she came and asked me, she said, Mr. Smith, I got a question. You talk a lot about goals.
Mm,
You talk a lot about the difference between seeing and actually having vision.
mhm,
So what do you see and what is your vision?
mhm,
I said, oh, I'm glad you asked me that.
mhm,
I said, I see me effectively changing 100,000 lives.
mhm.
She said, that's a daunting goal. And I said, not really. I said, because one changes two, two changes four,
Yes.
four changes
Yes.
eight. I said, so
Yeah.
in the course of a period of time, 100,000 is nothing. My vision is that the things that I talk about, the acronyms that I write, the messaging that I send out saves families. That's my vision. It saves a family. It saves a father from walking out that door.
Right.
It saves a mother from actually going down a path that she shouldn't go down. It saves a child, a teenager who is maybe considering or has experienced drugs before
Yeah.
and realizes that this is truly not the way to go. It saves a grandfather who it really doesn't know what to believe at this point and feels that he's in his later years and he might as well just say, I'm done with it. I'm tired of living, to give him the right or the feeling to go on, to continue to make an impact to other, not only other senior citizens, but other younger generations in communities. It is about changing a narrative to what we see right now, to really make this country and make where we are a beautiful place for all of us. Will I see it? Now I told her, I said, now will I see all this in my
Right.
lifetime? I don't know that. I can't
Yes.
answer that. I said, but if I don't do my work, I become hypocritical. If I don't have an opportunity to have these conversations and not be scared or fearful, operate in the spirit of fear, then guess what? It will never happen, or I
Right.
won't see it happen, or I have no knowledge of it. So every day I'm going to look in my mirror. Every day I'm going to leave my house with a gratitude living others will witness. Every day I'm going to help a elderly person with their groceries. I'm going to pay for groceries for some of them at the grocery store because I have the ability to do so that I didn't have before.
Right.
Every day I'm going to take charge of my life to do what I can to make sure that I am always doing my best, that I'm not taking things personal, that I am not making assumptions, and I am definitely, most definitely being impeccable to my word. That's who Mark is. And that's what
Well,
I'm
I
going
think the 100,000 is too low because of that impact, buying someone's groceries, carrying their bag, just acknowledging them already has the ripple effect. All right.
hmm
So I think, change that to 1 million because I think really that's where it's at. The thing is, we can only do what we can do. I'm always given visional blueprints by the universe, by God's design. And I know that that is what I'm meant to do. Right. And I have tried to do this and I've tried to do that. And it's always been a pushback, not time, not the right alignment. So I don't give up on it because I know the vision is right. I
hmm
know what I'm meant to do is right.
hmm
But to whom I'm meant to do it with and how I'm meant to do it is in God's hands, and it will be revealed at the time is right. And that is, you just have to allow, because we don't always know,
hmm
where when that connection does come at that right time, I've got to be receptive to it. So I just continue to do what I do and let people know the branches are going to be growing. And who
hmm
do you want to be a part of that branch? Do you want to be a part of this orchard? And those people will come when the time is right. But never ever underestimate the impact of even just the good vibrations. As I talked about earlier, sending out white light, sending out good vibrations to people. People start feeling different. They just don't know where it comes from. And
hmm
imagine if everybody, for 10 minutes of the day, sent out good vibrations to one another. Imagine. It would be a turning tide completely.
I think we had an opportunity. I think we truly had another opportunity. I talk a lot about the impact of COVID,
Mm,
right? When the world shut down, and I talk about how that for me and my wife. I mean, she's my rock. She's my soul, my heart and soul. But that became. I mean, we were good friends, but she became my best friend during
yes.
COVID. My best friend, because I mean, we were, I don't want to say we were stuck together, but she has an office, I have an office. We met for lunch, we
Mm,
talked to move on, but I really got a chance to know more about her on a
mm,
day to day. You can tell me what you do at work,
yeah.
but until I'm actually in there, I wouldn't see. I had
Right.
an opportunity to really get closer to my children.
Mm,
Really have a conversation versus a text message.
yeah.
We made it a point to where we were FaceTiming. I got to see my grandkids do
Mm,
things. Saw my granddaughter swim for the very first time. These are I had a chance to continue to write more. I had a chance to
mm,
continue. I'm always been an avid reader. I had a chance to really read more. I had a chance to get more connected, meet great people like yourself over these type of environments, these types of things that I wouldn't have got to do before. So when people talk about some of the, and let me before I continue, I am truly sorry for the families who lost loved ones.
exactly.
That is catastrophic, and I didn't wish that and want
No,
that for
no,
anybody. I don't.
I agree.
But it gave people an opportunity to really get the double-edged sword. It
Yes.
gave you opportunity to know who you are,
Yes. The reassess.
the risk. That's who you
Hmm.
are. And if you didn't like what you saw in that
This
mirror,
was the opportunity.
it was the opportunity for you
Yes.
to make those changes and
Yes.
get to where you want to do, because the playing field was level. It was truly level at that point. Now,
Yeah.
if you didn't do what didn't take care of it, shame on you, because you may never have this opportunity
No, I
again.
mean, it's the universe keeps throwing things. I mean, about 4.5, 5 years ago, the universe gave me a saying, And it was the universe is going to shake us up, to wake us up, for us to step up and change it up and grow up vibrationally, but also grow up as human beings. And
Mhm.
the COVID brought us together, and we saw who was important: the everyday worker, the person who gets the food to the store, the person
Mhm.
who sells the food, the janitors and the nurses and the doctors that are saving lives, the people that are busing them to it, risking their lives. We changed who were the heroes. You know, this Fortune 500s. Well, who got you there? All of
Mhm.
these people. And we changed our perspective, and we started valuing things differently. We started valuing what was around us. We started valuing ourselves. And it was truly a gift if you saw the opportunity in it. You know, and for people who lost their jobs or lost their businesses, it was either you had to pivot and do what you could do the best way you could do it, or maybe it was for you to close and go in a different direction. But don't get stuck in
Mhm.
the trauma or the drama. Look at what opportunities comes from it.
Mhm.
I was going to write my book because I thought, oh, I'll have time to write my book. And then I ended up doing so many more shows. I do around 8 a week. Anyway, I was doing 8 and 10 a week, which when you do all the editing and everything else, it adds up.
Mhm.
But is people talking about building immune system, handling our mental stress, pivoting. Don't look upon this as a slap in the face. Look at it as a nudge, nudge, wink, wink, you know,
Mhm.
and it was an opportunity. And I think for everyone, no matter what, every time you get something, a door closed in your face, the rug pulled from underneath you, you're back on your backside again. Well, you know how to get back up.
That's
Then
right.
maybe just pause for a moment. Just enjoy sitting down there. Take a
Mhm.
deep breath, go into a yoga pose. All right. And then when you get back up, come back up and go, okay, where do you want me to go?
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Just say next.
Mm-hmm.
Next. Next. The
Exactly.
magic word next.
Next. Now, your podcast, the process, in each podcast, you share a particular process that people could go through.
I do. I started out, there's actually 6 series. And within each series there is actually 8 messages.
Mm,
And I wanted to do something unique, and I kind of alluded to, and we kind of dibbled on it a little
mm,
bit. I wanted to do something different. So I said I'm going to create acronyms,
mm,
something that can be applicable to everybody every single day, that they can take with it and apply it in each area of their life where it's important. So I do. I have written these. These are all true life experiences. These
mm,
are things that have gone on, things that people have talked to me about, and or things that I've seen. It will be 10 series or 10 episodes before it's all said and done. At that 10th one, I'm going to wrap it up nice and pretty. I'm going to turn it over to a publisher and say, here you go. You can put these on shelves for everybody. Um, I just think it's important, Sarah, to make sure that individuals know that they're not alone. You're truly
yeah.
not alone.
No.
Everything that you go through, everything that my experiences may not be a carbon copy of what you went through,
Right.
but there's something inside there. We've all had to deal with death. We had to do with job loss. We had to do with frustration. We all had to do with, in some form, there was drugs that inhibited a family. There was adultery that inhibited a family. There's every message that's out there are real life scenarios and real life experiences that we all go through. It's just the fact that we don't, sometimes we get caught up or clammed up in that shell, that we don't look for those resources. And everybody knows me, will hear me say, we don't have problems, we have situations. How do I
Yeah.
navigate and get to the resources for the situation? So the
There's always a solution. Always a
always,
solution. Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
So the process again is it's a series. It's on iHeartRadio, Pandora, Anchor, Spotify. It's on
Mm-hmm.
all of those. I have a TV show called the Process Roundtable that I actually have individuals on, and we take apart one of my acronyms and we talk about its application
Mm-hmm.
inside their life. I'm a guest every other Saturday on a radio show, Star 107FM.com, based out of Columbus, Ohio, my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually unveil and release a new message in one of the series on there every other Saturday. So, and again, I'm a workforce development facilitator for a nonprofit here in the Baltimore area. So I found my purpose.
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
50 years,
You know, took me 50, took me 50.
I didn't get that last number in there. I really found what I was truly designed
Yes,
to do, and I don't confuse purpose with platform as
right.
two totally different entities. I know that my job is to help people get through when they think they can't get through,
Right.
and it's only through the grace of things that I've gone through and not giving up, as I'm here to bear witness that you can make it happen. You can. And is it still tough? Are there still challenges? Absolutely. Every single day. But I refuse to let that beat me. I refuse to let the mentality take over. All I choose to do is to come with a smile, come and believe that my story has the potential to change someone's life. Know that my story is sharing, even if it only impacts one person,
Mhm.
and know I'm defined by what God thinks of me versus what any man thinks of me. And
Exactly. Amen to that. We're all, that self discovery to what is our meaningful purpose. And I've done many, many things in life, and I've lived in many countries, and I've been through an awful lot of my own turbulence. And everything was leading me up to this. And I'm coming up to my 10th anniversary of podcasting. June will be 9 years of my own network. The things that I have learned about, I really was at that point in 2012 is like, do I really want to stay here?
Mhm.
Humanity, it's just like no matter what we do, you just springboard back towards the hate and everything else and the greed. And I was given an opportunity to go on a different podcast network, which was there for 13 months. And then I started my own. What I've learned about myself, but mostly what I've learned about humanity is we are extraordinary creatures.
Mhm.
We are exemplary creatures. We have the abilities with love, kindness, consideration, and solutional um, abilities to help one another. And the purpose for me is to interview people like you who have your answers, your solutions to help the people that need you. So I'm on this one beautiful orchard ready for the picking. And it really does show you the news will give you a pimple and make it a volcanic eruption. All
Mhm.
right. Fear does sell. It leads to hate and violence and angry people who will never do anything for themselves. But if you choose not to buy the fear and you want to be the best you can be, find your meaningful purpose, be of service to humanity, find that inner love, then you need people like you that can help them along the way. And that is what it's about. There is always somebody there for you. You've
Mhm.
just got to be willing to do your homework. Pay attention to listening to your process podcast. Pay attention to other wisdoms that are given to you. Don't just listen, apply. Right.
Mhm.
And you may have to apply a few things before you find a right fit for your situation at that moment. But if you're not willing to invest in yourself, if you're not willing to participate in your own life, you're never going to get the resolve that you want.
Mhm. That is accurate. That is so true. That is so very
It's
true.
up to us. And so you're busy
Mhm.
pointing fingers out there. Us. What are
Right.
we going to do? Are we going to choose positive living?
That's right. That is so true.
So if people want to listen to the process,
Mhm.
how do they listen to it? What else are you offering people?
Well, they can go to, again, they can go to well, let me back up. They can go to my website. Go to
Mhm.
my website. It's theprocessmarksmith.com. You can email me as well, mark@theprocessmarksmith.com. Kind of long, but it'll get to me. And if you want to listen to the process again, if you look up the process Mark Smith, that's on iHeartRadio, that's on Anchor, Google Podcasts, all the major platforms. What I've been doing up and through the next 30 days is I'm actually giving 30 minutes of consultations or 30 minutes of a speech or interaction with any organization, any group, any individual, whatever you need to help get you back into a proper mindset to help you grow forward. I don't say go forward, grow
Mm,
forward.
yeah.
Then reach out to me, and that it is free of charge. I wanted 100,000 lives. You're right. I underestimated myself. 100,000 lives to be a month. I should I should
Yes.
say that's a month.
Yes.
That's a month task. That's a month task. So I want to be able to help individuals get to the next level. When they think they can, they can't. They can't.
Yes.
I want you to refocus what you see in that mirror,
Yeah.
because you are truly a unbelievable person
Mm,
at heart, at soul, at spirit, and as long as we will definitely define and make sure that you become accountable. You remain integrity, you remain your responsibility and your respect, so you can definitely move into your best life and be the best person to change somebody else as you get better.
We are all flawsome, every single one of us. A part of our life's journey are the flaws that we become, but you look at the perfect diamond, it has flaws in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Hmm.
if we embrace our flawsomeness and try to be awesome with it, because you have gone through the things you've gone through, that's why people relate to you. That's why people can talk to you. That's why they can trust you, because you understand the best teachers are those that have gone through it.
Right.
You are, because those people are speaking your language. They understand your pain, but they also are the inspiration that invites you to delete your own pain. You're not ever going to forget what's happened to you, but you are going to get rid of the feeling around it. And you're going to then start investing and nurturing and seeding that wonderful feeling of how you want to be. But you've got to be realize it does take you participating in your own life and going through the process. So it's the process, marksmith.com. Please go there. You'll find his podcast there. Take a listen, because I know it's going to inspire you. And you know what? You may have a buddy. You may have a friend that you know is at a crossroads. Invite them over. Hey, man, I want you to listen to something with me. Right. And you never know how you are inspiring someone else. And I always think, podcast parties, listen to it together and have a conversation afterwards. What did you get out of it? I got this out of it. I got that out of it. And how illuminating that can be. So don't forget to share your wisdom. Don't forget to have someone to talk to about it as you grow. Be open and ready to receive. Not everybody's out to get you. Many people are out to receive you and help you grow. Thank you so much for being here, Mark.
Thank you. I just want to leave them with one thing, one
Yes,
quick message. Always remember, your why is greater than your situation, which is part of your process.
exactly. But process is what we have to go through, folks. There's no downloadable app. There's no quick button. There's no going to sleep in the ice chamber and waking up when it's all resolved. No, you've got to be willing to go through the process. So until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. Please tune in to our selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows and you will see all the other genres that we have from you. Every week on Tuesday, we bring you new shows from illuminating people. If you know someone that should be interviewed, please contact us at info@selfdiscoverymedia.com. Now stay tuned for your next show.